So continuing on, this is the 11th video on this introduction to robot design in VEX parts. And as I started to say at the end of the last video, um, we can get away with this design because there's not a lot of weight on the front of this robot, but this is really a poor design in the sense that you can see how far the load, in other words, where the force on the wheel is going to be applied, is a pretty big distance away from where the bearings are. So that would tend to give you a lot more flexing in the shaft and maybe more binding in the bearings. So in general, I mean, if that was going to be important, if there was more weight on this, then we'd probably build some structure where we'd actually put some structure here so we could get the bearings a lot closer to the load. And so here's another shot of that. Now here's the ultrasonic sensor that we talked briefly about, so that you're going to mount that on the robot. And here's the standoff. So again, these are useful. They come in a variety of lengths, I think 12 different varieties. And you can also use those couplers to combine the standoffs together, so you can get pretty much any length you want. And here's some more standoffs on this part as well. Okay, so here's the gear that's going to be bolted to the arm, and you can see that rather than just try to turn that arm by using the 1/8" square shaft, we're going to use these spacers right here and actually bolt the arm right to the gear. That makes it much stronger. All right, so here's a shot of that where instead of just, you have a pinion that's going to be driving this big gear, and then you want to transmit that torque to the arm. If you just had that going through this, even though this is a metal locking plate, it's still a lot better if you can bolt it actually to the to the gear. And so here's the pinion. Again, we have bearings on both sides, so that all the motor has to do is apply the torque or twisting effect. And here's it's assembled. So here's the arm. The gear is bolted to the arm. The pinion drives this big gear. Bearings on both sides here as well. And also what we're going to do for that arm is we're going to use a potentiometer so that we can have feedback in control in order to better control that arm. So we'll know exactly what angle it's at, because we'll be able to use this potentiometer to determine the angle. And here's another shot showing the motor and the arm and then the potentiometer all lined up over here. So hopefully that gives you a pretty good idea of the kinds of parts that are available from the VEX kit, and also some of the at least some introduction to some design practices in terms of like wheel drive and placement of bearings, things like that. And so you can go ahead and watch the video of showing the actual build on the Basebot and read the instructions that are supplied. Hope this helps.